Good Saturday morning, everybody. It is I, Trevor Thompson, the self-appointed Looney Tunes Critic, and today I'm joined with my David Pez Hofmann from the Director of Communications for AnimationResources.org. David, how are you, David?
I'm not just a communicator, I'm also a storyboarder.
Yes, we didn't get to talk about this in your last commentary, the hen-pecked duck. And, yeah, so...
I picked this cartoon because... so I worked as a storyboard artist on season 1 of Wabbit, and I guess the second season is called New Looney Tunes. I worked on the second season as well. I came into Wabbit about halfway through... Well, I guess not halfway. I don't know. I came into Wabbit after the show had been done and it started, and they were asking me, hey, who do you think would be good to add to the show? And I was like, I want to bring back Fat Porky. People were like, oh, we got to do Daffy, or we got to do all these other characters. And I'm like, I want to bring back Fat Porky.
You're the guy that brought back... I never knew that about you.
And so I picked it for 2 reasons. One, Bob Bergen is an incredible voice actor, and he does the best Porky Pig. I think of all the classic Looney Tunes voice actors, all the voice actors that do the classic characters now, Bob Bergen is the best. And I was excited to get to work with him. And so I looked at this cartoon, The Blowout, to kind of figure out, how does Porky act when he's a big fat guy? And the cartoon that we made was basically it's based on or inspired by Planes, Trains, and Automobiles, and Bugs is in the Steve Martin role, and Porky is in the John Candy role. It's called Pork in the Road.
Dude, I literally watched that 3 days ago, that movie, because I love that movie so much.
The cartoon turned out okay. The second episode that we did with Porky and Bugs actually is much better. It's called Air Pork Security, and Porky Pig is like TSA, and it's awesome. It's like Porky does all the jobs at the airport. And it's, that takes us right into this cartoon. This cartoon is very much well, first of all, this is Tex Avery's 4th cartoon for Warner Brothers, but it's also sort of the blueprint for what he will do later at MGM for Dumbhounded with Droopy and the Wolf.
David, I have to confess something to you. Yes. And I'm doing this now here in front of all the world. I only found out today that I've never seen this cartoon.
What?
And I'm literally telling you this now. I am watching this for the first time right now, as I'm talking to you. And I was so excited because I was like, it didn't seem familiar at first, and then when I was, getting my hands on it and ripping it from the DVD, it was like the first minute or so, and I realized, I've never seen this, and I just went and ran an errand or something while I was doing it, while I was playing, because I didn't want to see it, because I realized it's a new first here for the Looney Tunes Critic. We do commentaries, but I've never done a reaction video.
That is so awesome. I want to comment on something right here. Do you see when Porky spun around like they were really fast?
Yeah.
So that is Tex Avery actually experimenting, probably for the very first time, if not the second time.
And that's the teacher cow from I Haven't Got a Hat.
Avery is experimenting with speed right there. He's trying to do smears and dry brushing and speed lines and things like that. And that's him pushing to see, how can I make the animation go faster in that little spin.
I remember one time I experimented with speed, and
oh, Trevor.
It was a completely different thing. So that's so cool. I had no idea that it's so many. I thought for a long time. I just assumed that Fat Porky was a Spike and Tony decree.
No, Spike and Tony are awesome, and I've definitely worked for those guys too, or for Spike a fair amount as well. And they they did a version where the characters were very I'd say 40s style. Mm-hmm. But that Wabbit show, the idea was they wanted it to be really early, so Bugs looked kind of like original Bugs a little bit. Yeah, kind of like a mix, like the Mickey shorts.
Yeah.
But then Yeah, they didn't want us to do retro stuff. They wanted us to kind of move it forward. But if you could put one foot in the past and one foot in the future, which
the reason I think I thought that
as pitching it as like a combo of John Candy and Old Porky.
I think though that the reason. I mean, I think the reason I thought that was because it's so like it's very telling. You know, the studio, like the time, you know, let's just say it. Warner Brothers is getting their asses kicked by those Mickey shorts, and they don't really know why. And I think that they would look at it in a producerly sense. Well, they went retro with Mickey. They made him look like Iwerks, so maybe we should have some of our characters look retro. Maybe that's what'll get them. You know,
I'm sure that they're going to keep trying it. I do want to give credit to the showrunner Matt Craig. He was a writer on SNL and a bunch of he did a lot of improv comedy stuff, and he brought a writing sense to the room that was almost unheard of at Warner Brothers in this day and age. He would write an outline or ask the board artist or other people on the crew for ideas of what they might like to make a short about, and he would write an outline along with like a writing partner or perhaps me or perhaps another board artist, and then we would take that outline into a storyboarding room, and 5 artists would sit down together, and we would all come up with jokes or take jokes from the outline and just flush them out and see how they worked. And because he was such a good pitcher and actor, he would just act these things out for us, and then basically all of our job had to be at the end of the day was we would just watch his performance, his pitch, and then try to translate the funny of that into the animation. Much like Tex Avery did when he would film his actions to like the acting that he wanted to get. You know, there's a bunch of footage of you can see of Tex acting in Bob Clampett's movie Bugs Bunny Superstar. Yeah, that's right. Yeah. Hey, you hear that, Matt Craig? You've just been compared to Tex Avery's brilliance. Well, yeah. I mean, if it ain't broke, don't fix it, man. That's right. But this cartoon really is a great cartoon. If you look at it in how it relates to the other cartoons of 36 in this year, Tex Avery is miles ahead of like Jack King and the other directors at this time. Like he only gets credit for speed and gags, but Tex is great at character too. And this cartoon establishes Porky's character so well.